The accused in the Hillary Gardee murder case is expected to apply for bail today. Now, this is important because originally all three suspects initially abandoned their bail bid. So let's find out what exactly has happened. Let's head down to the Nelspruit Magistrates Court. There he is, reporter Pule Letshwiti-Jones, joining us from a beautiful Mbombela this morning. So Pule, just bring us up to speed. It's a very complicated court case, of course, but there has been a change of heart somewhere. What's happened?
Well, happy Tuesday, Gareth, and you are indeed correct to say that initially all three had abandoned their bail application. In fact, coupled with that, we do understand that previously the state had, of course, opposed their bail, saying that they should remain in custody. But one of them applying for their bail application this morning is Sipho Mkhatshwa as well, who is actually now has forwarded some of those documents through his legal representatives, and it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds, particularly because previously these three men were charged of serious criminal actions, stemming to 6 charges, including rape as well, including theft, including amongst others, which were really serious according to the court and the state as well. But we know that the EFF as well, that's been speaking on behalf of the family, has also made mention that the three should remain in custody and that their bail be opposed. It will be quite interesting to see how this now unfolds, as it seems as though their wish may not be granted as yet, as one of the accused is now applying for bail. And this very same Sipho Mkhatshwa is not new to having been on the wrong side of the law as well, when you look at other incidences that he had allegedly committed, including infringing a protection order.
Let's go back as well for the benefit of viewers. Court papers in the last appearance also detailing, to the shock of many people, Pule, I'm sure you'll agree, that this attack on Hillary Gardee, this murder of Hillary Gardee, allegedly planning this as early as January of this year.
Look, it was quite serious. It was, quite bad. And one still now even imagines what would have been a sinister motive behind this. And this is why we're here today, try and find out if maybe these answers could actually develop in the court today. And what was also interesting, Gareth, from what we've heard previously in the court, was that these were people who were actually close to the family, which is quite serious. And it seems as though all this pattern of the criminal activities that planned out was allegedly planned as well. So it goes to see how serious this was. I mean, you also recall where the late Hillary Gardee's body was found at a timber plantation. That wasn't far from her home. This was about 35 minutes. But particularly where the incident allegedly happened, where she was shot, that was about 3 minutes from her physical home address. So it goes back to show you that these were, perpetrators who were on the watch, monitoring her movements, the steps, to ensure that they can wrongfully execute this criminal act that they decided to do. And this has caused a lot of trauma to the family as well, who till today are still grieving, and they're quite upset about what had happened. They're still, in doubt of whether this is true or not, and this is just the kind of trauma that has pierced through their well-being till today. So we also will be monitoring if they will be making their way to court this morning, but obviously we are expecting a group of EFF supporters to pledge their support and solidarity, just like they did previously. And the party has been quite close to the family as well, and it will be interesting to see whether the Sipho Mkhatshwa does receive bail or not, or whether this court case is postponed to another date again.
We saw the previous court appearance, as well as you mentioned, Pule, that the state had asked for bail to be denied. There are still many people wondering, just as a last question to you, Pule, about the father, of course, of Hillary Gardee, Godric Gardee. Has there been any word from him in particular? Has there been a statement released? We know there was a family spokesperson, but of course many people were sending condolences to Godric Gardee. Do we have any idea of the whereabouts of Godric Gardee, or will he be appearing in court today to see the proceedings?
Well, publicly, we haven't heard of any, pronouncements that have come from the father, apart from the funeral when there was a video playing on a video wall during the service, where he was actually, venting, and you could actually get a sense that these horrifying, terrible news about his daughter had actually brought him to a situation where he couldn't cope anymore. I mean, he was on his knees emotionally, and this was something that pierced through him unexpectedly so, particularly because these are people who knew the father as well. But I've also monitored his social media account. If you look at Twitter, he's come out very strongly venting, still in disbelief that this couldn't have happened to his loved one, especially his daughter. So it's a situation that has still caught him, against the wall, which he's trying to slowly overcome, even though it's very tough. I mean, losing a daughter in such a heinous criminal act at this particular period of time is not something any parents would want to go through, Gareth. So for him, it's quite difficult. Previously, when their family appeared before the court, they were still quiet. They hadn't spoken to the media. The EFF was still doing some of the media work for them, speaking to the media. But when you get a sense that when the EFF address the media speaking on their behalf, you can still get the feeling that, they're still in a very, very distressful situation. So for us, we wait to see what will happen, if the family will speak to the media, if the father will still speak to the media. But for now, they've also quietly asked for their space, having the EFF speak on their behalf.
Absolutely, of course. And we'll check in again, Pule Letshwiti-Jones, with that court bail application expected to get underway later this morning.